All right, and welcome back to MyStartr, the podcast, our season finale, the big one. I can't believe we made it all the way here. My name's Anna. I'm one of the youth program coordinators at MyStartr, and we have Tristan Morris.
Hello, everyone. Tristan Morris, still youth program coordinator from MyStartr.
The whole season.
Mentor me, same thing.
Has not changed. Yeah. We have a really, really exciting episode today, as you can tell. If you're watching us, which is new, we've never done this before. We have two guests. Our first guest, aka Boss Baby, is a university student studying social sciences. You will recognize this voice from our episode on self-pitching. It's Zanae Stimpson.
Hello, hello.
And our second guest, it has a background in basketball coaching and youth programming. It's Matthew Augustine.
Thank you for the welcome.
So both Zanae and Matthew are youth employment coordinators here at MyStartr through our Interview Me program. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
All right, just to get us started, just tell us a little bit about Interview Me, guys.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and shed some light, and then you can tap in afterwards. Well, Interview Me is MyStartr's digital hiring program, as well as youth talent pool. That's also where youth have access to direct job interviews, and also where coaches like myself and Zanae build report those youth. And we also help them best prepare for those job interviews through our workshops that we do offer. I'll let Zanae touch on that a little bit as well.
Oh, for the workshops?
Yeah.
Yeah, so our workshops go over things like interview prep, but it also helps them to learn more about the company culture of wherever they're applying. Because you don't want to pull up to a Starbucks interview and be like, I thought this was for Shoppers, or I thought this was for McDonald's, because then that looks bad on us and it looks bad on them. So yeah, we have our workshops. We also do one-on-one. So like if you miss the workshop, me and Matt will most likely be like, hey, let's do a one-on-one where we can see like maybe where you're lacking in some skills and like give you the rundown on like the company once again.
Oh, so aside from the workshops, you could also do one-on-ones with Matthew or Zanae.
Yeah.
100%. And I feel like that's one of the key elements of our program. The fact that, everyone's schedules are all different. So if we don't have access to one of the youth based on their schedule or whatever they have going on at the time, Zanae and myself can definitely reach out to those individuals, and they can book some time that best fits their schedules as well as ours. And we can do our workshops, or what we like to call a crash course. Gain some rapport, build some rapport, get to know them on a little more of a personal level, but also just to help them best prepare for that respective job interview.
That's awesome. So I'm really curious. Sorry, you go ahead.
I was just saying it's funny, even though we're on the same team, I just learned like fully what you guys do.
You learn something new every day.
I guess that's the working remote struggle.
I know,
It really is.
But I was going to say I'm really curious because this whole season has been focused on our skills ladder, which are basically the 10 skills that employers are looking for when hiring people. As employment coaches, which of the 10 skills do you think is most important? And let me know if you need a refresher on what the 10 skills are.
Matt, you can go first.
Okay. For me personally, I would say pitching skills.
Okay.
Pitching skills is definitely one of the most important self-investments one can make in helping their career. With pitching skills, it's how you intro yourself, or even how you answer the ever so popular interview question, tell me about yourself.
Yes.
Which is huge. And I personally feel like a lot of people, or a lot of youth, need to best prepare for that, because you never know whether you're networking, you're starting off your networking journey, or you're meeting a set employer for the first time. You want to be able to intro yourself confidently, and I feel like being able to pitch yourself helps you be confident at the same time.
Of course. And just before Zanae answers this one, because Zanae was on our self-pitching episode, how would you answer that question, Matthew?
Matthew, tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go. My name is Matthew Augustine. I'm a youth employment coordinator / coach for MyStartr's Interview Me program. In the past, I was a basketball program coordinator. I graduated from University of Regina, where I also played basketball for 4 years. I was on a university scholarship. And also just in terms of my employment journey and I'm graduating from university, I learned a lot about myself in terms of mentoring, building relationships, guiding youth. And that's what led me to the position that I have right now. In the future, I do see myself working with youth and continuing to mentor them, or even getting back on the basketball court as a future assistant or head coach at a high level, but I still want to continue to help mentor and guide and build youth to be their best self. Sorry about that. And that's for the future. But as of right now, like I did say, being a program coordinator definitely has helped me build my personal skills, a lot more soft skills that I didn't realize that I needed to touch up on a little bit. But that's a little bit about me. Some things I like to do in my personal time. I am a girl dad. I have a 2-year-old daughter, so I'm a big kid myself. And they can
Shout
attest to
out.
this.
They are twins. They are literally
Their name is
twins.
Alea, Amelia, Augustine, AAA, just like the batteries.
Shout out.
So being a girl dad has taught me to be patient. I love to play around with her. I love to get outside and enjoy the weather. Being an ex-athlete, at the same time, I love to stay in shape. I love to work out. And that's a little bit about me.
This guy said ex-athlete like he doesn't do crunches on his break.
Both the interview me people were so ready for that question. When you asked us on today's episode, we were like, I don't have an answer.
You guys
for
can catch me slipping. That's fine.
No.
We need
But
some training.
yeah, we definitely need some training. But yeah, it's still that same like past, present, future
Past, present,
formula.
future, and you also want to sprinkle in a little bit of some interesting facts about yourself.
Of course.
And one thing that I love to tell the youth, treat it as a conversation instead of an interview. And you want to leave that said employer wanting to know a little bit more about yourself as well.
Right.
So you say those interesting facts, and maybe afterwards, knock on wood, you land that job. They're gonna want to learn a little bit more about you too, right? So it's a good way to start off in building that relationship and building that rapport with that said employer.
That reminds me of when we had Raj on, and he was saying how like professionalism is really about branding yourself, and that's really the start of it. The first time you pitch yourself, that's where you tell people like, okay, well, Matthew's an athlete and he's really into youth programming and he has a daughter and he's patient, and you start to build your brand right from that first question.
100%.
And then Zane, what was your most important skill on the skills ladder?
The number one in the first episode, confidence. Because like Matt said, you need confidence to pitch yourself, but you need confidence for everything. Like, I don't think that, you can get very far without confidence. Like, there's times where people will ask me a question and I didn't practice it. Like, I didn't practice my pitch, but I have the confidence to know that whatever I say will sound good. Like if someone said, tell me about yourself right now, I'm confident enough in myself to know, okay, I can answer this question. Yeah. Versus you can get pitching skills by practicing a pitch, but you might still not be confident enough to go out and tell people this pitch, even though you know it word for word and you practice it for months.
100%.
But yeah,
100%.
Confidence is my number one skill.
What about you, Anna?
For me, I think I would go like growth mindset, resilience, because I think.
Sorry to cut you off, Anna, but yeah, I would personally say because all three of us have touched on it, any of the three critical attributes.
Yeah,
definitely.
the self-investments, the first three, because with everything else, with like the technical skills or the communication or everything like that, you can kind of build on it. But especially the first three skills, it has to come from inside. It's like work you do for yourself. And it's also something that's going to help you in your everyday life, not just at work. Yeah. Like you really have to change that relationship to failure, as Sarah said in that second episode, where it's like, it's not about yes or no, or I did it or I didn't do it. It's what did I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And that totally changes your perspective. And it just gives you, honestly, like a better quality of life.
Yeah.
If you're not like mad at yourself all the time. Tristan? What about you?
I was going to say confidence as well.
Let's go.
Just because you can just, I don't want to say fake your way through anything.
You can.
But
fake it until you make it.
You can straight up fake your way through anything if you have the confidence.
That was my motto in high school. Like my entire high school career was like fake until I make it. Fake. University, apply, fake it until I make it. Fake until I make it. First year, fake it until I make it.
And then I also feel like the older you get, the more you realize like adults never had it figured out. Like as a kid,
they don't know.
Nobody knows anything.
Nobody knows anything.
Everybody's just faking it out here. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
What is, for you guys, what is the most common struggle in people interviewing?
I think it's both confidence and preparedness.
I was about to say.
Like, we see when candidates come through the program, those who come through the workshop and learn and do the practice steps and do the one-on-ones, they're more successful in their interviews versus the person who was like, oh, sorry, I'm busy. I can't do this. Can I still get an interview? It's like, yeah, but you're not as prepared as everyone else. And they tend to not be as successful as others because they don't know the questions that they're going to get. They don't know anything about the company. They don't know what to bring to the table because they're like, oh, this is an interview, but what am I talking about? Should I be talking about all the experiences I've ever had before? It's like, no, because that's what your resume was for. That's why you're at the interview.
Right.
So I think preparedness and confidence, because once they feel unprepared, they start to stumble.
Right.
And if you're stumbling, you're worried. And if you're worried, you're anxious. And if you're
Anxious.
anxious, you're not confident.
And
How
exactly
how
get
can
your
people get prepared for an interview?
Come to the workshops. If I email you,
Yes.
answer it. No, but like to be prepared for an interview, I think practice.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah, talk to people. When I was first doing interviews, I'd practice with my mom, and then I would do like the YouTube videos where it's like, oh, I'm an interviewer, let's practice some questions.
Ooh.
But then I also love to talk, so it didn't really matter. Like I was like this, I'm talking too long and this guy's already on the next question. But practice makes perfect. Like your interviewers don't know you as well as you know you.
Right.
Look at yourself in the mirror, because then you can just imagine that the interviewer is you and that you're talking to yourself in the mirror. But yeah, practice.
Practice.
Yeah,
What
I'll go
about
ahead
you?
and follow what Danae said. I feel practice as well. Research and practice. Practice makes perfect. Being creative, using whatever you can to help you in that sense. So if you have family members, if you don't have family members or friends that you can, either pitch yourself to or practice those situational questions that you might get asked in an interview, being creative. Use your computer, ask a neighbor, hop on a Zoom screen where you can just see yourself. Just be creative, because at the end of the day, when you do have your interview, you don't want to go in there blind. You don't want to
Right.
act like it's an experience that you've never had before, because that's how you decrease your confidence. That's how you get anxiety. And I feel like, especially in a digital interview, like the said employer across, you can see that if you're not prepared, because you might start looking up, you might start fidgeting, you might start stumbling on your words. So those are some ways that you can help mitigate those things from happening. But also just doing your research, putting in the time, understanding, whether it's the said company's values, mission statement, goals, all those things matter. And you want to see if they align with what you have and what you represent and what you're trying to do, right? So those are also some ways to help bolster your confidence, your personal confidence, and just help you get ready for that said interview.
Right. Right.
So you both talk about preparedness. You both talk about like doing your research. But what's that like one tip that reaches everyone? Because some people are better at talking, like Zane was saying. What's that one tip that reaches everyone as an overall goal for an interview?
Trying to figure out how to put this in a sentence.
Okay, can I say one that I heard that you did in your interview, Sarah said, where it was like, if you're really nervous, just say like, hi, like I'm really excited to be here.
Yep.
Like changing it from nervousness to excitement.
100%. And they could feel that, and they kind of want to match that energy as well, right? So that was one of my tips. Shout out to Anna for actually saying that, because I actually forgot that I did that.
Some reverse psychology.
No, it's a good thing, because
Yeah.
employers do take note of people who are nervous. So one thing in the workshops or the interview process is that we get your feedback. So they're taking notes on your interview. And so we can see when it's like, oh, this person was nervous, so I want to invite them to another interview because I feel like they can shine. So like, yeah, if you're a nervous person, and I even recommend just telling your interviewer you're nervous. Like they will
Be
understand.
honest with them, open and honest.
Yeah.
It's the best
Like,
way.
hey, so like, I'm like really nervous, but I'm happy to have this interview. Or you can do Matt's, I'm really excited. Anything that lets them know that you might not be 100%
Right.
is better than you just going into the interview and not letting them know.
And then it doesn't feel like something you have to hide and like
Exactly.
cover up.
Yourself. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
You bring like all of yourself into the
Exactly.
room.
I don't know. I'm a nervous interviewer too, so I'll say that, but like maybe not on purpose. I'll just straight up say, "Hi, I'm nervous," because it'll come out, and it's like there's no way I'm hiding it. I'm a fidget in my chair. I'm a spin. I'm a
Voice
circle
cracks,
every
stumbling.
time.
I'm gonna steal fake it till you make it, because that really was something I used for my first like couple of jobs. You literally will convince yourself eventually that you know what you're doing, and that's all you need to know. It's like, you know what? I'm the best interviewer in the world. Go into your interview thinking that you're the best interviewer in the world. Fake that you are the best interviewer in the world. Fake that you are the most amazing candidate, because you will eventually be the most amazing candidate. So fake it till you make it is my like holy grail of interviews. Like, it's okay. Even if they say no, there's other interviews, there's other opportunities. You just got to learn to have the confidence in yourself, or fake the confidence until you get the confidence.
100%.
Yeah.
I saw this other one where I was like, instead of going into an interview being like, oh, I hope they like me. I hope I'm a good candidate for them. Be like, I'm getting to know them.
Right? Do you like me? Do I like
That's what
you?
I meant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Treat it as a conversation.
Exactly. Now you don't have to prove anything to them. Now they're proving to you.
Yeah.
But that comes with the experience. Like it's hard to have that mentality of like,
No,
I
right
need
away.
you to like me rather. Do I even want you to like
Right.
me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's so true. I mean, I think it goes back to like the practice makes perfect. Like the more interviews you go to, the less pressure it is.
Less pressure it is.
That it's always that first interview or like that first couple of interviews where you've never been in that situation before that you like really get nervous for it. Do you guys have any like pre-interview get rid of nerves rituals?
I play
That's a good
games
one.
and I make people laugh in the tech room.
I like the one you said, like Danae mentioned it when she was in the other one. She was like, get a fresh haircut.
Yeah.
facts,
That's what I
facts,
do.
facts.
Look good, feel good. Just impressed, depending on the setting. As long as you personally feel your best self, you look your best self, you'll shine. That's how I personally feel. That's what works for me.
Yeah. Zane?
Before my interviews?
Yeah, like, well, I mean, from someone who doesn't get nervous,
But
but
I just raw dog my interviews, if I'm being quite honest. Like, I go in there, I'm like, all right, hi, my name is Danae. Usually, like, wearing out a blouse or a shirt, the hair is retwisted. I got the 2 little locks at the front. I make my room clean because usually my interviews are online. So, clean area, clean mind.
right.
Being prepared, and it comes back to the sense of just being prepared. Even if it's like walking yourself through how you'd answer certain questions right before, or doing some last minute research, anything to like bolster your confidence right there and then, I think is something good. Everyone's different at the end of the day. Some people rather like to eat or work out before an interview. Everyone's different in terms of how they deal with their nerves. But as long as you have something that you can do to help ease that anxiety, I think you'll be good. Everyone's different though.
I'm a liar. I remember what mine is.
What is it?
I mean, other than, getting fly. I put cheat notes on my screen.
Oh, yeah.
You did that.
Yeah.
did you
No,
not?
she did that.
I
and
did
then
it. I did it.
I thought it was stupid to not
When we
realize.
were O4AY, I had cheat notes of like what we did, what the acronym stood for.
Yeah.
No, it was crazy because I remember going on our website. Sorry, guys. On our website, it was so janky. And I'm like, I don't know what they do here. So I'm like, okay, this looks like it's
Yeah.
right. Had it. And then I remember like, Christina was like, oh, so what do you know about O4AY? I was like, oh, yes, opportunity for all youth.
As her head swivels back and forth.
And
It's because I had braids.
Going on.
I had faux No, did I have full locks? Yeah, when I had my interview, I still had full locks. I didn't get my real locks yet. So yeah, I was swinging my hair.
It's just so obvious that it's dumb that you didn't think about it until you said it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like they can't see around your
No.
screen.
Yeah.
Just cheat the whole time.
And to be
Sticky notes.
Still know your stuff.
I don't know if that's the message we
Still
want to put
know
out.
your
Cheat
stuff.
all the
Well,
time.
Technically,
Research.
that is
Research.
preparedness still.
Yeah.
I'm being
Yeah.
prepared by
Prepared,
writing
yes,
notes
yes.
on what I
You're right.
researched.
It's back
That's
up.
definitely
Okay.
something in our workshops that I do tell all of the youth. Like, hey, you know what? It's a virtual interview. Use it to your advantage. You have a desk, or whether it's a dual screens or a laptop. Take some sticky notes. Take a piece of paper. Put it where they can't see it. And if you want to like,
If they're
Wow.
students, they already know this.
Yeah.
hopefully, you would hope so. You'd hope that's something they know. But yeah, that's definitely something that you can do.
For sure. Do you have any? I feel like we've talked about this before, but I can't.
Like little
Remember.
before interviews.
Yeah, to get rid of nerves. As a
No,
nervous
it doesn't
person.
work for me. I'm,
Really?
I'm just a very nervous interviewer. I told this
sweaty
in
palms and
an
stuff.
episode that I didn't get the job because I was a chair swiveler.
Which is funny because I'm a chair swiveler, so I think there was something else there.
Mine might
the-
be aggressive.
I am a chair swiveler through and through. Even in our workshops, I say don't do this because I'm doing it in the
I
workshops.
don't think I've ever seen you doing that. Though.
Always.
Really?
Yep.
You know what it is?
focus on
It's
that now.
because Anae's such an animated speaker
Mm.
that it
She's
just like
already
goes
there.
with her movements.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a character in the loading screen. That's why. It's my loading animation.
Boss baby. Boss
Yeah,
baby's in it.
legit. Oh my god.
Oh.
So no.
I like the workout one. I feel like if I tired myself out, I'd be too tired to be nervous.
You'd be too tired to be nervous?
Yeah.
What?
I'm just like,
Well,
calm down.
I think you shouldn't work out then.
Yeah, no.
I mean, my brain's alert. My body's just like,
I feel like
I'm
it'd
not
give you
You're
What
gonna be in the
fidgeting, I'm
interview
not
slouching, like,
No,
oh, sorry,
still
I
standing
just
up.
pump some iron.
When you just exercise, you don't feel fresh. Like,
Oh,
you just
yeah,
sit-
I went to the gym this morning, but then I was in my car like, oh, yes.
Or maybe it
Finally.
depends on what part of the body you're working out on.
That's true, that's true, that's true.
And
If
how
you
long
do
you're working out for.
crunches, then it's just gonna keep you sturdy.
I mean, no
laugh,
chair,
though.
no chair swiveling.
Yeah.
Crunches.
I guess it makes sense. Like your adrenaline levels in your body when you work out, you're back to those like
Yeah.
dopamine levels.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I'm just hypothesizing
Yeah,
here.
I'm not a biologist. Don't ask me.
I'm not a biologist either. I just like to make assumptions. I think for me, I like to do like affirmations. I like to fake it till I make it. I like to be
like
like,
that.
you are going to get this job. Girl.
Period.
You have it. You are
Purr.
such a good candidate for this.
Eat it up, sis.
That's a good tip.
And
I like
then, I don't know, going into that mindset, it's like, whatever, I got this.
Right?
So we've had a couple questions come in from our audience.
Hi, audience.
Hi,
that.
audience.
Hey, everybody.
Look at all the cameras. So the first question that we wanted to get your expertise on, what are good questions to ask at the end of an interview?
Well, first things first, it's definitely good to ask questions at the end of an interview. For me personally, I would say, what is the organizational culture like?
Can you define what that is for people who might not?
Yeah, so, well, depending on the said organization, you know, what are their goals? What are some things that they take pride in? What do they represent? And how do you see yourself fitting in there? How do you align
Right.
with those things? Everyone's different. Everyone brings something different to the table. But at the end of the day, it's we before me. You're a team, so you kind of want to ensure that you can be that team player that you want to be. You want to make sure that you are that person that can fit in. So it's definitely important to understand what that's like before, potentially having that job interview and being a part of that team. Another one for me would be what have past employees done to be successful in that role?
Right.
I think that's huge. And last but not least, my other favorite one to ask would be,
He has notes.
I was just
He's
about to
looking
say.
down
I'm
at
like,
his
there's
I
no
wasn't going to expose him, but I was like,
there's literally
Three
cameras.
cameras on
what
us
he's
right
preaching.
now.
we gave everybody tips before, so it makes sense that I brought some notes here.
Oh,
right? I gotta
that's
back
true.
it up.
He's practicing what he's preaching. That's what I'm saying.
Oh man, but yeah, well, depending on the said employer, just what do you like most about that organization? What's your favorite part of working there? Those are my favorite three.
That's a good one. What about you?
I usually do what's the most rewarding part of the job for yourself, because I like letting the interviewer have their own chance to talk, because then that's when it becomes more of a conversation, because if you ask them that and then they say something that you relate to, you can start piggybacking, and then suddenly your 15-minute interview is now 45 minutes because you guys are just discussing about life.
Right.
One condo, don't ask them about how much the job is paying
you.
Don't ask when you're going to start if you haven't been hired.
this is
And
good.
don't not ask any questions. Those are like my 3 cons. That should have been a question, or 3 things not to ask.
You don't want to ask.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I have an audience question, but also my own to go off of that. When they ask you to put what is your desired pay, what is the next step?
So usually when it's like a part of the application, that's when you do like the research on the market. So if it was for a graphic, or I can do social media manager. If it's for a social media manager, you know that most social media managers are making 25. If they're making 25, that's 50K a year. So that's when you put 50K a year. Or you can say 45 to 55 a year, depending on your experience.
Okay.
Always depending on experience, for sure.
Because you don't want to downplay yourself, but you also don't want to be like, I'm not going to get this job because they think I'm asking for
Yeah.
too
Much, yeah.
That's a
lot of
tough
money.
one.
I always say 50 is a good median if it's like a entry level job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think they asked that question?
For their budget.
For their budget, but also to see like
If they can lowball you?
No facts. 'cause
I always wondered that.
Yeah.
if me and you apply for the same job,
Yeah.
and you say $100,000 and I
Yeah,
say
'cause you know I'm
65, they're gonna be like, yeah, give it to this
Yeah.
one, give it to this one.
yeah.
And then the audience question is, what are some golden tools when preparing for a job?
Interview me.
True. Say it louder. Say it louder.
How do people sign up for Interview Me?
Go to mystartr.ca/interview me. You're gonna see join interview me. Click your location.
Register in our database.
If it's BC, Ontario, Quebec, because we're national, click wherever you are, and then you'll either get an email from me or Matthew, depending on your location in the GTA region, or you'll meet our BC team, like Trina, or you'll meet our Central Canada team, which is Nita. So yeah, there's lots of coaches to talk to wherever you are in Canada.
Are there any other tools?
When you say
I like-
tools,
I was
can you
gonna say-
elaborate?
Well, that was the
Anything in
question
general?
that came in.
Oh, well,
Oh, sorry,
what are
audience.
good tools to use
Like-
when looking
like-
for a job?
Like LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Oh,
I was
looking
gonna say
for a
LinkedIn
job.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, or preparing for an interview.
My last 3 jobs are all from LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Do not use any other. No, use Indeed because sometimes you post on Indeed. Use Indeed. But LinkedIn is like my
LinkedIn's a good
number
tool.
one.
It's a very
Yeah.
good tool.
I got this
How
job.
how do you use LinkedIn?
Set up a profile. Please put a picture.
Yes.
Do not make a LinkedIn profile with no picture. Even if you're private, like
Want to put a
still
face to
have
a
your
name. Definitely put a face to a name.
And then there's the job search tab. That's really good for finding like entry level because you can set it by level. You can set it by remote or in person, full time, part time. But I think LinkedIn's just more of a legit site. So you also won't fall into job scams, which we've seen during the pandemic rise.
Right.
And plus, there's like you can go
network.
directly from the post to the company's page, to their website. You can see who works at the company, so you can start
everything.
connecting with
The easiest way
them.
to do research in like one specific area, like you can do everything on LinkedIn. And it's what they offer like across the board, and it's a way to network, especially for someone coming out of university, or you're looking for whether it's an entry level job or a change in your career. LinkedIn is to me the greatest tool you can use because you can research whether it's different companies, different employers, and follow their journey, see what they did, what skills they possess. There's so many different things you can do with LinkedIn.
And if you don't know how to set up a profile, we have resources for that on MyStartr.ca.
MyStartr.ca.
Change your URL. I've recently
my
learned
gosh.
this.
Yeah.
Zendaya
Yeah.
herself was like, "What is wrong with you?"
I'm looking at the numbers. It's like Tristan 567 321. I'm like, oh, if you don't put like your first and last name, like mine's LinkedIn.ca/ZStimson.
Love
Because it's just like, okay, this is
How do
Zanae
you change
Stimson.
it?
So on your profile, like when you go on your profile page, on the right hand side of the browser, you'll see edit profile URL, and you literally can change it to anything that is professional. So your
Right.
first and last name, don't make it Mac Daddy 1997.
Right.
You had that
Don't
one
make it
open.
Taco Monster 99, which is what my old ones were. But yeah, just put it like first name, last name. Usually some people, like if you're like our manager, she has Smith as a last name, so she usually can't use it. So put it like K. Smith, Z. Stimson, A. L. You know.
And
He has to include himself in this.
Wait, sorry. If you guys want a little Easter egg, Matthew's last name's not even Augustine.
yes, there's not. That's not. My
It's
last
not
name.
Augustine. What's your real last name?
It's Augustine.
Oh my gosh,
And
I'm so
no,
sorry. I should have
honestly.
asked how to pronounce it.
No, because he
It's a
came
whole-
into this
yeah.
workworkplace and didn't correct
I didn't
anyone.
correct anyone.
For the
Did
last.
Did you just say it yourself when you said your
Yes.
last name? Wow,
Yeah,
you've corrected
that's so crazy.
all the way.
Yeah.
He's gonna be here for
And the
a
reason
year and 2 weeks and has let everyone say his last name wrong.
It's honestly with basketball. Anywhere I've ever played, whenever the announcer say it, I can't like stop the game and be like, "Hey, time out. Hey, you said my name wrong.
Yeah.
Say my last name properly." And I just got so used to it. So I'm like, you know what? It grew on me. I'll take either or. Augustine. So
My
he's looking
stutter
like,
Easter
no.
egg.
MyStartr Easter egg. Interesting.
There's an interesting fact about me. Augustine.
Augustine.
Matthew.
Okay. I gotta redo the
The
intro
flow is
now.
Yeah, I think we're gonna run through this.
No,
again.
you can't redo it because we just talked about how it's not his last name. If you do, it's gonna sound silly.
Oh,
Oh man. Okay, well, if we had to leave our listeners with like one big interview me message, what would it be?
For me, this goes to students. Yes, please make a LinkedIn because I had a lot of friends even during university that didn't have accounts until they graduated. That's too late. You should already be starting to build your network on LinkedIn while you're in school, while you're working, while you're doing volunteer work, because then it's easier and you're going to look real. If you come to a LinkedIn profile and you have like no experience on there, there's no pictures,
Yeah.
like it's going to look like a bot. So grow your LinkedIn as you're in school, grow as you're working. LinkedIn is your tool. Please make an account. I beg. If you need help, email me, zstimson@marsdd.com. I will help you set up a LinkedIn profile.
for me personally, I would say there's something out there for all of us in terms of jobs. So it's important to be creative, be confident, be yourself, stay ready, and put in the work. You know, you're always rewarded for the work that you put in, and you get what you get. How do I say this? Make sure I say it the right way.
You take what you put in?
Yes, exactly. You take what you put
I don't know. I know what you're saying, but
You
I
know
don't know
what
how
I
to
mean.
say it either.
in. Yes, but
yeah.
well,
You
that's-
can't eat your what? You can't bake your cake and eat it too?
Eat it too.
Something like that?
No, it was
I
simpler.
think those are
You
two
can't-
different.
Okay.
No, that's different.
I know what you're trying.
Yeah, okay,
The
you
way you
get
said
it.
it the first.
Out
You know
what you
what? This
put
isn't
in.
going
You
to
get
be
out
that
what you
bad.
put in.
There
Yes.
you go.
Yeah.
So just continue to whether it's believe in yourself, put in the work. Like Zanae mentioned, LinkedIn is a great tool, and be resilient. You know, you're going to be
Yeah.
told no.
Yeah.
You're going to be let down, but it's about how you bounce back, how you what's the word I'm looking for? how you
Dust off your boots.
you dust off your boots, and how you just get back out there and just
Right.
continue to propel forward and try to make something happen for yourself. But there's definitely something out there for all of us. You know what I mean?
Right. Matthew kind of stole mine. I was gonna say like you're gonna be rejected. You're gonna get no's, but like keep going, keep preparing yourself, keep interviewing. And there are really great tools out there. Like Interview Me. I bet you a lot of people don't know about it. Those videos that Zanae used to watch on YouTube to get herself ready for interviews. Like there are a lot of really great tools to get you started.
For me, shoot for jobs that are higher than you think you deserve.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that. Yes, that's very true.
Because a lot of us here didn't think we'd be in the
that's
jobs that we're in right now.
Yep.
That's true.
Also sign up for Mentor You, Mentor Me.
Facts.
Same thing. Mentor You, Me, MyStartr.ca.
Yes.
Yes. Find yourself a mentor. Get some free advice for a good 6 months. 1 week at a time.
Jeez.
Yes.
Quickly to piggyback off of Tristan, yes, please apply to jobs that you're not qualified for. Like the worst they can do is say no.
Exactly.
What's the worst that can happen?
And they're still saying no.
Right?
Like they're saying no to jobs you think you deserve. Why not get some no's for a little bit higher?
Right.
Exactly. Even if you're
That's
missing like 2 of the qualities, it's not that it's anything
No.
you can't learn.
Yeah.
And at least it was a connection you made with someone.
Yeah.
Also, you might get the job.
Exactly.
Fake it till you make it.
That's
And
right.
sometimes it's about who you know, so you want to continue to be a familiar face. Definitely.
Exactly. Well, guys, that kind of brings us to the end of our entire season.
Whoa.
Can't believe we made it. Thank you for listening, for watching. Thank you guys for coming on today. And until next season.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao.